coverage from Alexander's house.
Okay. All right, Alexander, we're going to start with an easy question. What's your name?
Alexander Barr.
Alexander Barr. How old are you, Alexander?
10.
10 years old. What
Yeah.
grade are you?
5th grade.
You're in 5th grade. Where do you go to school?
Falls City Elementary. We're almost done with the year.
Yeah? So,
We get out in June 30th or something.
June 30th?
Yeah, June 20th or
What are
something.
you going to do this summer?
We're going to go to Washington, D.C.
You are. I was just there.
Yeah, and we're going to probably catch some fireflies.
Oh, I saw lightning bugs while I was there. They're pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Make-A-Wish thing here. But first I want to find out when you were diagnosed.
Well, I've had stomach aches lately since I was like 5, and we think that might have been related. And we found out when I was 6 years old. I was diagnosed with leukemia when I was 6, and I was really scared then. But I got used to it after a while. It was still kind of sad. I still felt kind of scared because I'd never done anything like that before.
And now you're in remission now?
Yeah. So it was about 3 years of treatment.
Gotcha. What, you had like chemo and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chemotherapy.
Yeah. Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Are you playing with the mic cable?
Where'd he go?
Oh, good. Okay.
All right. So you were diagnosed with leukemia. You had treatment for about 3 years. Chemotherapy. That must have been kind of tough, huh?
Mm-hmm. Really
Okay.
tough.
Yeah. And so, did you spend a lot of time going to the doctor?
Yeah, actually, well, I stayed 6 days the first time, but it was some parts were okay because I got to play video games and stuff. Sometimes.
That's good. Okay.
They had good breakfast.
They had good breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
What'd they have?
They had donuts and cereal, cold cereal with milk and stuff.
Cool. Can you tell me how did you learn about the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
Well, somehow we got hooked up with them, and my mom found out about it, and then they started Tim Wolf and I forget the other person's name, but they told us about and they asked me what I wanted, what was my life switch.
And how did you decide what your wish was?
Well, I've always liked collecting bugs, and I used to have them in like cases where they draw and stuff. But since I've started getting more professional and making them all symmetrical and putting them in the boxes, I felt like I wanted to get some really cool bugs and go to the rainforest and see wildlife in its own habitat instead of like around with houses and stuff.
Tell me how you got started with the bugs. Why the bugs?
Well, it was kind of silly, but I drew this picture of a walking seed. It's like this. It looks like a seed with 6 legs, and it's just like lines. And I don't know why, it just made me feel like it liked them. And then I looked at them and watched how they move and stuff. It's just interesting. They're like aliens, but not. They're interesting.
Cool. So you wished for the trip to Panama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you know about Panama?
Well, what happened was, we asked them which rainforests were like available, and they found out that there's a Make-A-Wish office in Panama. So then we decided to go there, because they said we can't go to Costa Rica because there's like no one we could hook up with, and they might not let me catch bugs there and stuff. So they wouldn't have as good of connection.
So, do you remember the day that they told you that you were going to get your wish?
Yeah, I remember, and it was really nice. We had a big party at the Rainforest Cafe, and we ate. Then the next day I got to go in a limo with the TV and champagne, which I couldn't have. And it was kind of fun. And then when we got there, we got to go to the airplane. It was a long airplane ride. And then we got to go to our room, and that was really neat. It was a nice room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they had screens on the window so that the mosquitoes wouldn't get in.
which you being a bug guy, that was a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, there you are. You're down in Panama, and you've gotten your wish, and you get to go out there. Tell me a little bit about what you did while you were in Panama.
Well, we got to go to Canopy Crane, like the second day. The first day, though, we got to go on Pipeline Road, and my dad was chasing a blue marfo, and we saw caterpillars and leafcutter ants. And I caught, my sister actually caught this big damselfly about this long. But then later I caught my dad caught this big blue marfo, and I caught a dragonfly and stuff. And so my whole family kind of catches bugs, not only me, but I usually catch most of them.
And there was something about there was a wasp or a bee or something that was named after you. What's that about?
Well, Bill was wanted to make this trip special. He was one of the most supportive people there, and he said he's going to name a bee after me, a sweat bee. And so the name is some Latin name, I forget it, but it's the Alexandra is the last name, so it's basically my name in a little Spanish.
That's very neat. That's very neat. Tell me, what was your favorite part of the whole trip?
Favorite part was when I went to this pond, and we're at this hiking trail we caught, and Pipeline Road. Those were my favorite parts. And we got to catch lots and lots of big bugs. And Barrow, Colorado was my favorite part. We got to go to this Smithsonian Institute, and there were these entomologists there today, and we got to catch wasps and stuff, and I got to go in a bee suit and stuff. It was really fun. We got to hike, but we had to tape up all our ankles because there were sugars and stuff.
You dressed up in one of those bee suits with the helmet and the really?
Yeah, it was really cool. And then I had to lean over, and he held my legs while I lifted up on the roof and caught some bees and stuff.
Wow. There's a lot of other kids that are, in your situation. They've been sick and all that sort of stuff. And what would you tell them about the Make-A-Wish Foundation?
I would tell them it's actually really supportive, and it might make you feel better. Keep your mind off of all the bad things that are happening. And it's just think that it's going to turn out okay, and it probably will.
Is that how it worked for you? Did it kind of...
if you worry about it all the time, you're not going to enjoy your life at all, so just do what you can at the time.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? Tough.
So if you can actually do something special, like go to Panama, or do what you want to go to Disney World, or get your own specialized made guitar, or whatever your life's wish was, before maybe you get really sick and have to stay in the hospital, then it would be you at least had a special moment in your life.
Yeah. Can you wind that a little, George? Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell us about Rosie.
Rosie, somebody found it. One of my friends found it in Arizona. Now you think somebody else let it go, for some reason, and we caught it, and so we've had it for about 3 years now, and she shedded her skin a lot, about 3 or 4 times, and she eats crickets, and we have to fill her water every day and stuff. It gets dehydrated.
Is it a little? Do your friends think it's a little strange that you got that kind of a pet when they got dogs and cats?
Well, they're kind of afraid of it, but after a while they get used to it.
Were you afraid of it at first, or were you always just fine?
I was always fine with it. I mean, some people have ferrets and rats for pets. That's kind of unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. How were your parents? How do you think your parents handled? First, how do you think they handled you being sick, and then how did they handle the whole Make-A-Wish thing? Were they?
Well, Dad said when he was home he was really sad and he missed it because the house was empty. It was quiet. because me and my sister weren't fighting. Well, not only that, but it was just empty. And I was sad, but my mom and dad got to stay sometimes overnight with me. I think they were still pretty sad, though.
Yeah. And did the Make-A-Wish thing kind of help cheer them up too?
Yeah, I think it helped them a little bit understand that it's okay and would be able to do something nice and if something went wrong.
And so, what are you going to do in the future? Are you going to be a famous entomologist, or?
Well, I don't know about this, but I was gonna buy a Jeep and a regular car, and then like go on trips to different places and catch bugs like an entomologist, and maybe find a new bug or something. More precise, be an insect.
Yeah. Okay. Georgia, I wonder if we should have him tell us about Rosie again, and maybe he could take Rosie out of the box and kind of show her to the camera and all that sort of stuff.
Anytime you're ready.
Are you ready for that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to say, hey, Alexander, tell me about Rosie.
Well, can we do like a dry run?
Yeah, let's do a dry run. Are we doing a dry run?
Sure.
Okay. You can open up the box, kind of reach in there, bring her out, and kind of
Should I
show
do
it.
that at first, or should I? Okay.
You know, the
Desert.
sound and all that.
Okay. Yeah, we can go.
So basically the same, except I take her out
Yeah.
and tell her why I named her Rosie.
Yeah, that'd be good too. Okay,
Because she's Rosie
so
color.
let's give it a shot here and see how it works.
So is
Okay.
so just record
for it.
over.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Go ahead. You know what I'm doing.
Should just keep talking.
Hold it up a little bit. More like you're holding. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah.
I think Rosie was like left in the desert, and one of my friends found her, and she gave it to me, and she's been with us for about 3 years, and she eats crickets, and she's shedded her skin like 3 times, so she's pretty big now. I don't think she's gonna get much bigger. And I named her Rosie because she has this nice rosy color, and it's a rose-haired tarantula, and you can figure out if she's a female because she has, when you see her skin, it has like a mark on the inside of her body. And my friends are more used to her now, because I mean she's never bitten anybody, and it's only like a bee sting.
It's great. Okay, now if you can put her back into the box. There you go. Okay. Well, now, George, if you could get the B-roll of Panama.
Yeah,
exactly.